And hello, this is Dr. Greg Oliver once again with Fat Doctor TV. Looking forward to talking to you today about lots of different diets that are out there. And we're only going to touch on a few of them. We'll have some additional episodes that touch on more. There's probably a diet for every single person out there. But today, a couple things we're going to look at, and I know we're talking about the D word or diet. And as Tony Robbins says, how can anyone stay on one? The first three letters of diet are D-I-E, die. But the truth of the matter is, what we eat is our diet. Whether it's a healthy diet or an unhealthy diet, we need to be real and talk about diets. Now, we use the word diet just to mean a modification or alteration in what we typically eat to lose some weight. Most important thing is you want to lose fat. We don't recommend that anybody go on a dietary program or a diet, so to speak, that causes them to lose lean body tissue. That's muscle tissue and protein. That's unhealthy. So what we really want to do is lose the fat, because remember, again, as I've said before, we're not really overweight, we're over fat. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the old Atkins diet. Now, it's not old. There's in fact a new book out called The New Atkins Diet, and I've met with some of the people and talked with them who've actually written that book or parts of that book. And if you look back, it was very popular in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and basically Dr. Atkins said you got to cut your carbohydrates way down, less than 25 grams a day, and then you got to bump up and load up on protein, and he wasn't really too concerned about the fats. And what we found was that some people had some problems with some electrolyte disturbances, such as their potassium, their fluid intake, and over time it really looked like maybe that excess fat was really a problem. Now, I don't think Dr. Atkins intended that to be the case, but I remember patients of mine on the Atkins diet coming in and telling me that they would sit down for dinner at a restaurant and order a 24-ounce prime rib or T-bone steak with nothing else, and that was their meal. And number one, it was way too much fat and probably way too many calories at one sitting. So of course the problem is most people take these diets and then take them to extremes. So the New Atkins diet focuses on a few other things, certainly cutting the carbohydrates, but also maybe looking at balancing the diet a little bit better. Now, there's the coconut diet. Now, this is actually like a cleansing program, and the basis of this is the people who advocate it state that pure coconut oil comes from all good fats, and that the claim is that coconut oil will boost your metabolism and increase digestion, help with your immune system, and increase your thyroid function. Whether that's true or not, I don't know that there's been any studies on it. Then there's the flat belly diet. Flat belly diet out there now is about 1,600 calorie Mediterranean type diet. It lasts for about 28 days, and basically it focuses on natural, unrefined foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and lean proteins. They claim the secret is in the monounsaturated fats at each meal, and that helps to stimulate your normal metabolic functions. There's a new diet out called the Kind diet, and this one is one of the Hollywood diets. Basically, it focuses on being a vegan diet. No meat, no dairy, no eggs, no processed foods, and I guess it's kind because it's kind to animals, I suppose. One problem you got to be careful with vegan diets is you need to make sure and get plenty of protein in your vegetarian sources, and also some of the vitamins may be missing. You need to get check into that. There's the Master Cleanse diet, also known as the maple syrup lemonade diet. Not going to get into too much detail. I think it explains itself. The proposal is that it gets rid of toxins in the body. I doubt that it's a very sustainable type diet, and you got to be careful because as nutritionists agree, it might be deficient in some essential nutrients there. Jenny Craig, another diet that's been out there a long time, big commercial retail program. I've had lots of patients on it. Some have had great success. Basically, Jenny Craig is a program where you go into the retail center, some forms and counseling and looking at what causes you to gain weight are reviewed and evaluated, and then you're placed on a portion-controlled, prepackaged diet, and certainly if you can stick with that, you will lose fat tissue. Also, you're seen on a regular basis, so there is some accountability. A lot of upsales though in the retail centers, so it can be kind of an expensive diet if you buy into everything that they recommend, the supplements and that sort of thing. But it's been around a long time, and certainly you've seen successful people on that program. Weight Watchers, that's probably the king of all diets, or queen we should probably say. It's been out there many, many years, and every now and then changes. I think they've got an announcement coming out here soon about a new diet for 2011. But most of the patients who go on the Weight Watchers diet that I see are on a point system. And foods are assigned points. You're basically given so many points per day that you need to eat based on your current weight when you start. I think the program overall has been very sound and has helped a lot of people. They tend to push that you shouldn't lose weight too fast. 1.5, maybe 2 pounds per week. So the biggest frustration that a lot of patients have on Weight Watchers program is they're on it forever. And nothing wrong with that, because you do need to eat right forever, but people tend to wear out quickly on that as they lose a pound or 1.5 pounds per week, and then lose their motivation over about 6, 8, 10 weeks. So the other problem I see with the program is, at least in the point system, is people are able to eat pretty much anything they want as long as they stay within their point allowance. And I've had patients literally tell me that Snicker bar is only 14 or 15 points. So you know, people tend to do bad things when they're allowed to. I'm kind of a believer that limiting choices tends to help during the diet or fat loss phase of any program. If you have too many choices, you tend to make some bad ones. How do I know? I've done it myself. So Weight Watchers program out there, it's good. Many of you may have been on it and may go back on it. And again, they're announcing there's something new coming for 2011. South Beach diet, big diet, initially started as a very low carbohydrate diet in response to the Atkins craze back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And now it's modified itself a little bit. Looks at lowering carbohydrates, lowering fats, and balancing the good carbs and good fats to get you to balance your insulin levels, because we know that high insulin tends to make us hungry, tends to make us crave, and tends to make us put on fat. So there is definitely some sound science behind the South Beach diet, and it goes through some regular modifications and is still out there alive and well and doing fine, and many patients are doing well on that particular dietary regimen. And then there's all kinds of other diets that are out there. We won't go into some of these. We'll go into some of the other commercial diets out there in other episodes, but a lot of these are brought about by celebrities who've lost 5 or 10 or 20 pounds on a week or 2 or 3 diet, and then they promote it as the diet to end all diets. And some of those are like the baby food diet, the grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet. I mean, I could go on with these things, and probably the key is stay away from any particular dietary program that doesn't give you a balance in protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Now, I am a firm believer in cutting carbohydrates. I recommend to many of my patients that on a dietary program we use, they cut their carbohydrates between 50 and 100 grams per day. Why? Because that does lower the insulin levels. It does kick in fat burning process we call lipolysis, and over a period of time, as your body burns fat by producing ketones, it tends to decrease the hunger that you have. And we'll get into the diets that we use at our weight loss center in another episode also. So be careful. Don't just think because one of the celebrities out there lost 20 pounds that this is the diet that you should be on for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, if you lose that 20 pounds and then you go off that program, most likely you're going to be gaining it back. Well, hopefully we'll have some episodes with many, many more of the commercial and fad diets, or also just diets that come and go, and some that are seriously good programs out there, as I've mentioned some of those today, in future episodes, so you can kind of weigh and balance what might be best for you. So send us an email, contact us with some comments. We'd like to know what you think about the diets, and also if you've been on some type of dietary program that we probably never heard about, which I doubt, send us that and let us know what you're on, how successful you've been, and we'll talk about it on one of our future episodes. Again, we're not here to slam any programs. We're here to help you to make a good decision on what's best for you, because the fact is, making choices is important. not just in the dietary program you want to be on to lose fat, but also in the daily choices you make and what you eat. So until next time, this is Dr. Gregory Oliver at fatdoctor.tv, and we'll look forward to seeing less of you in our future episodes. Have a great day.